I'm Deanna Jones. I'm the director here at the Thompson, and I'm so thrilled to welcome Gretchen. She's been working out of the office here until the building is ready to welcome her and her team. But we worked together for years at Kendall at Hanover as well, and have stayed in touch throughout the years. But it's just such a privilege to have her here. There couldn't be a better person to be here talking to you about this today. So welcome, Gretchen.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. So I'm glad you're all here today, and I'm going to give you as much information as I can on the Scotland House and what that is, and just a lot of information. And what I would like to do is just keep questions till the end. So I'll go through the presentation, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right. So what is the Scotland House? So it's a community-based day program that's designed to assist older adults with physical and or cognitive impairments to remain living at home and to be active in their community for as long as possible. The Scotland House is a freestanding nonprofit corporation, and we will be certified as an adult day service program by the Vermont Department of Aging and Independent Living. There are two types of adult day, so I thought I would give you a definition of both. There is a social model, and these types of day programs are structured to provide a lot of socialization for the participants. There's activity programming, there's monitoring, there is some personal care and nutrition, and this happens in a supervised setting. A medical model is almost exactly the same as the social model, but it also includes skilled services from nurses, therapists, social workers, psychiatrists, geriatric physicians, and others in the medical field. And the Scotland House is based on the medical model. So as our program grows, so will our services that we provide. Who do we serve? So we serve participants, older adults who are age 60 and above. Our participants may have a form of cognitive impairment. They may have physical challenges. One of the questions I'm often asked is the ability for a participant and what we can do. So based on the building and the environment that we have, our participants do need to be able to assist with transferring themselves, and they do need to assist with feeding themselves. We are not don't have the capability with mechanical lifts, that type of support. The towns that are served are Quechee, Woodstock, South Woodstock, Pomfret, Bridgewater, Barnard, Hartford, Heartland, White River Junction, Reading, Plymouth, South Reading, and Norwich. We are accepting participants outside of our service area. They're welcome to apply, and placement in the program will be determined upon the current availability. So here is our mission statement for the Scotland House. We are to care for vulnerable, valued clients and to provide support by helping them maintain a viable presence within their community and with their loved ones. We are to support each caregiver of those in the program by providing respite, relief, and an enhanced relationship with the person for whom they care. And you will hear me talk a lot about our mission statement as well as the other staff, and we will be referring to that. So these are just some of the services that we provide. We'll be providing on-site nursing services, medication management, nutritional support, hot lunches, snacks, chronic disease management, monitoring of acute medical issues, wellness-focused care, personal care assistance, such as helping somebody to the bathroom, taking a shower, and foot care, specialized dementia care, and companionship and caregiver support. Part of what we are also providing is not just the clinical services, but we also will be providing a life enrichment program. And what that means is it's a calendar of events and things that the participants can attend and participate in each day. So some of the things that we're going to be offering include gentle balance and exercise groups. We will be offering Tai Chi, having current event discussions, music, horticulture, social events. We will be having art and pet therapy and engaging with intellectual and brain stimulating activities, discussion groups, and other offerings to those who are not group people, because we are sensitive. Not everybody is a group person, and not everybody wants to participate in those forms of activities. Activities that are interest vary from person to person. Just as each one of us sitting in this room has different interests, different hobbies, that is something that we will take into consideration, and we'll assist our participants and their families to make sure that they're enjoying the programs that they want to enjoy in. Our program will be continually evaluating the participant needs and their interests to incorporate a variety of ways to engage while respecting their personal choice. So although I will and the staff will be developing a life enrichment programming, the ideas should be coming from the participants and the things that they want to see and want to do. So this is one of the most important messages I have for you today, and that is the Scotland House is more than daycare. So at the Scotland House, you will find a sense of community. We all have the same goal, and that is to stay in our own home as we age. However, for some, physical and cognitive abilities that can hinder that dream and their ability to do that. So the vision of the Scotland House is based on this knowledge, understanding the economics and the cost of healthcare, and the personal connection that we all have towards aging well. Time spent with us at the Scotland House will be focused on the person and not their limitations. So when are we open for business? That's one of the big questions, isn't it? All right, so as with all new startups and businesses, there are always challenges, and of course we've had some challenges. We continue to make progress with our building and our program. So our anticipated start date for the participants is mid to late August. We will be having open houses. Our plan is to have an open house for the participants and their families, the first folks that sign up, and then we will have an open house for the community, and I will be letting you all know when that's going to happen. Our hours will be open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5 for the participants. There is a minimum of 4 hours per day and 2 days a week for the Scotland House participants. And just basically what that means is that the participants don't have to be there for 8 hours a day. They can come for 4 hours in the morning. If they like to sleep late, they can come for 4 hours in the afternoon. And we are not a residential facility, so there are no overnight accommodations for respite. So here's a glimpse into our staff, because we're just a small team so far. There's myself as the executive director and the program director. Jennifer Kirkman is our business office manager, and we have welcomed her within the past couple of weeks. One of our caregivers is Ann Hertz. She is a retired nurse. So the three of us right now are the team, and we are interviewing for other positions to join us. And those other positions who will be providing care will be a registered nurse, a licensed practical nurse. We will need additional caregivers, a social worker, per diem staff, meaning just other staff to fill in when people are out sick and vacations, and then of course our wonderful volunteers who I've already talked to a couple today. I wanted to touch base a little bit on the staff training, because it's not just a clinical medical model. There's other things that incorporate into it, and one of those things is memory care. So we recognize that despite a diagnosis of dementia and the symptoms that accompany it, there is a real person who's trying to communicate with the limitations of their diagnosis. The Scotland House staff will have specialized training in communication, the different forms of dementia, as well as the physical and social challenges that someone with memory loss can experience. Those are all very, very important. Additional education. So I just listed this. One of the key things that we're going to be looking at is the best friends approach to Alzheimer's care. And that book and that theme was written by Virginia Bell and David Troxel. It's a wonderful, wonderful concept, and it really is about caring for people who have Alzheimer's disease and or dementia as a friend, and how you and I would want to be treated. We will be looking at the fact that behavior is communication. Just because someone has Alzheimer's disease or dementia does not mean they have special behaviors. They're trying to communicate something, just as you and I do. We just are able to communicate without the limitations of that particular diagnosis. They will have special training on the dining experience, customer service, obviously safety and ergonomics, and we will have specialized training in life enrichment programming. So here is another aspect of our team. This is a list of the Scotland House board members. So we have Jerry Fredrickson, Jill Lord, David Green, Deanna Jones, Susan Moore, Carla Camel, Catherine Cullen, Gail Doherty, and Larissa Siegel. So when you think of the Scotland House, one thing you should think of is this board and their vision and their dedication towards making this program a reality. They are, I've had nothing but wonderful interaction with them. They are a supportive board. I couldn't be more pleased to be working with all of them. Our growing community partners, the Thompson Center, obviously, the Quechee Health Center, Mount Ascutney Hospital, the Visiting Nurse and Hospice of Vermont and New Hampshire, Merton's House in Woodstock, Vermont, Alice Peck Day Memorial Hospital, the Bugby Senior Center, and Kendall at Hanover. So here's another popular question for lots of caregivers, and that's how much does it cost? So the cost to participate in the Scotland House program is $17 per hour. This amount includes a delicious lunch from the Thompson Center. It includes snack, personal care if it's needed. It covers activity programs, nursing care, access to a social worker if the participant and or their family needs that, and a safe environment. There will be an additional cost for transportation. We are very fortunate to have not only the Thompson Center providing transportation, but the Bugby Senior Center. And that will be an additional cost. We don't have a final number on that just yet. We had one price for a round trip, but we are looking at trying to make it more affordable. So there's more to come on that. The Scotland House will be accepting the following forms of payment. We will accept private pay, Vermont Medicaid, long-term care insurance, and this does vary depending upon somebody's policy, so you would need to look at your policy to see if adult day is included in that. The Veterans Administration, we have been in touch with the VA about having a contract with them. That comes after we are open. So as soon as our doors are open, we have that plan. They would come and look, and we are hopeful to have a contract with the VA. And we will also be accepting caregiver and dementia grants. So here's a little history on our donations and our funding. Since March 15th of 2018, the Scotland House, from generous donations for its mission, has raised over $110,000 after its original gift of $500,000. The Scotland House has applied for its 501c3 IRS charitable nonprofit designation, and that's for tax deductions for people who are donating. We are currently waiting on confirmation of our status. Future funding sources will include foundations, grants, fundraising events, and continued generosity from individuals. We are looking to raise $75,000 more by the end of this fiscal year for our program. So I've touched a lot on the participants and what we will be offering the participants. But I want also part of my message to be directly to families and caregivers, because you truly are the cornerstone of our program. So I thought I would include some information on dementia and home-based care. So these are some statistics for you. In 2017, caregivers provided 18.2 billion hours of unpaid care, averaging 22 hours per week. So if you convert that into a monetary value, that time for those caregivers is worth $230 billion annually. How does that impact the caregivers? A lot. A lot. The emotional and physical impact to dementia caregiving is estimated to have resulted in a $10.9 billion in healthcare costs within the United States during 2017. So as we were looking at the Scotland House and its program and how we can work within a healthcare system and keep people at home, we did not forget the caregivers and their healthcare costs. Of all unpaid help, 83% provided comes from family members. So did you know? By 2025, the number of people aged 65 and older with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias is estimated to reach $7.1 million. This is a 40% increase from the 5.1 million age 65 and older who were affected in 2015. Nearly 60% of people with dementia live in their own community homes, and 1 in 7 people who suffer from a form of dementia live alone. So the caregiver's first step. Each one of us in here, and we all know of somebody, have lived a life of giving rather than receiving. It's hard to ask for help, and it's hard to receive it. The Scotland House staff will be focused on dignity and personal choice, again, not on the idea of daycare. We want to enhance independence and the joy of living at home for as long as possible for our participants and for their caregivers. Time spent at the Scotland House is meant to offer more than just participant engagement. It's meant to offer caregivers respite and support during the day, to give them much needed time to rest and to spend time focusing on themselves. I've said this a lot in my career, and I will keep saying it. You can't be a good caregiver if you don't take good care of yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my presentation for today. There's just my references of what I used in my PowerPoint, and now I'd be happy to answer questions if anybody has any. Yes?
When people sign up to go for let's say, a program, and they can't always make it, is that a problem, or
No,
how does that work?
so lots of times people are sick, right?
So
Or
you
they
pay
have
for what
doctor's
you-
appointments.
There.
So yes, so we will work on that and figure that out, and we're going to make some changes probably within the first 3 years of being open. But we certainly respect that and want to make sure that that's something that we can help families with.
And I think it's wonderful that you've enlarged the area you're serving. I mean, considering the VA, there must be a lot of people related to that.
There is, and we're respectful of other adult days that are within the state of Vermont. But you're absolutely right, and we're very fortunate that the Thompson and the Bugby Center are willing to help with transportation, because for some, that's a real issue.
Yeah. Especially in the winter.
Especially in the winter. Yes?
Your hours again?
So for the participants, it's 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. Yes?
I didn't see Medicare on there. Medicare doesn't cover
No.
any of that cost?
No, it does not, unfortunately.
Is that something you're pursuing, or?
That's just not something that Medicare covers for these types of services. So we'd love to be able to to do that, but they just don't.
I did notice that Medicaid,
Medicaid is, yes, Vermont Medicaid. We do have, because Medicaid is funded by individual states, we do have some people who are interested in the program from the state of New Hampshire, but we would not be able to take New Hampshire Medicaid. That's just, it's very, very challenging and difficult to do that.
and is there an age limit?
60, but there's no limit. What any limitations would be on how the participant is able to assist with transferring and also with feeding themselves. You're welcome. Yes.
What is your fiscal year?
Oh, it's a good question. Jerry, would you like to interject there?
Well, the way Gretchen referred to it, we're talking about a calendar year. We're looking for grants and donations up to the amount that Gretchen mentioned by the end of this calendar year. We are working with the accountant on changing the financial year, so-called fiscal year, from December 31st to July 1. The way the program started, payroll and everything is really starting July 1 rather than last January, and there's a couple of other bells and whistles that there is an advantage to changing our fiscal year. We haven't changed it yet, and the government knows it's December 31st now.
Thank you, Chair.
Just other thing I'd like to emphasize, the other 12 plus activities around the state where they have similar programs, 50% of those programs are funded by Medicaid based on the participants they have. About 25% or VA or other benefit programs, and the rest, the other 25% is usually self-pay or similar. But that's just a profile of everybody that exists.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a lot. One is, I'd love to see a repeat of what the medical, what your service provides, because I noticed there were pets in that, and that kind of interested me.
Yes, so for the life enrichment programming, yes. So we will be having pet visits. There's just tons and tons of research, as well as my own personal experience with pet therapy. And so yes, that is something that we will be incorporating into the programming that we have, while being sensitive to those who may have a fear of animals or who really do not like animals. So for any type of care with the Scotland House, whether it's nursing or it's the personal interest in the life enrichment program, it really will be person-centered, and we will look at that very closely. So yes, if you know of someone with a therapy animal, or even just an animal that has that type of personality, would love to talk to them and have them come visit.
Also, the other things that were listed under that, I wasn't taking notes when that came
It's
along.
okay.
So I'd love to know what else comes under that. Was there art and things like that?
So yes, we will have arts. There will be discussion groups. There will be a lot of different things you'll see. I may have guest speakers. It will depend upon who the participants are and what they would see. So, but an example would be, right now we have been accepting some donations of teacups. So, so what we would plan to do is probably every week is we would have an afternoon tea, and the participants would be baking something for that in the morning, and then helping to set up the tea, and then enjoying everything in the afternoon. And some things we're going to have to experiment a little bit. Somebody who comes in the morning, who's done exercise and all kinds of programming, may be ready for a little afternoon rest. Whereas if we have, and then we're going to have somebody who's going to come into the program at 1:00 p.m. and is going to be ready to go. So we're going to be evolving with our programs so that we're meeting everybody's needs.
And I have two more questions.
Yes.
One is, you listed an enormous number of towns that are going to be involved.
Yes.
If you have space for all the people that might apply, what kind of space do you have?
So our goal right now for full participant day would be 17, and that's for the full day.
You might get more with this large use.
What we would do is we would cap off at 21, and then we will be having discussions about enlarging and making our space bigger.
And do you have a place for people to rest, like a bed or a sofa or something?
So yes, we have recliners, and then there will be a sofa well, there's several sofas, but we will also have one primarily in the nurse's office, so that if somebody isn't feeling good and needs to go home, then they can go into the nurse's office and stay until their family can come pick them up.
And how big is the plan? I mean, what is the layout of it? Can you describe it all, what it's going to be like?
Yes. So when you enter the building, there's two entryways, and you will come in, and the architect and the board really did an amazing job with designing. So you will come in. It's a large open space, and the first area, what I deem is kind of the living room area, has windows that look out onto Route 4. And that's probably where you're going to see the bulk of our recliners and our couches and that type of furniture. To your left, as you go through, are the bathrooms. And so we have bathrooms, and there is also a handicapped accessible bathroom with a shower. One of the benefits of being a medical model is that if somebody's struggling with bathing at home, is that they can come to the Scotland House, and we can support their caregiver and their family by providing that service to them.
How many
Again,
bathrooms do you have?
there's 3. Then you would go in, and our main activity space is also our dining area. They added in windows, so it's beautiful. There's a lot of light. The staff offices are also on the first floor, so that the staff are readily accessible. The only exception to that would be on the second floor, and that's where you'll find our business office manager. The second floor is not accessible to the participants. We do have what I call a country kitchen, and that is it's a kitchen with refrigerator, dishwasher, stove. It's just not a commercial kitchen, so it's not meant for that, which is why we're very fortunate that the Thompson Center is going to be sending us all of our meals. But that kitchen will be something that the participants, depending upon their level, can access. And again, we'll be doing activities and making snacks or breakfast if somebody comes early. And then there's a patio. Yes.
What is your experience with what you expect to have people would sign up for once a week or twice a week? Or because I was thinking when she first asked about it, there might be a whole van of people from Norwich, let's say, so that might take up to 17 people.
So we already have a list. We already have people who have signed up, who are interested. And I want you all to envision a big calendar on the wall, and we will be keeping track of who has signed up for what days, so where there's openings, where there's availability, that type of thing. And then I'm anticipating that it could be a daily thing. Even though I've decided I'm coming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I may call on Thursday and say, hey, is it okay if I come today? And then we would look at how many participants we have, and we could say we're full, or we can say absolutely come join us for that. There are some families and caregivers that are unsure about what the schedule will be. They know what they would like to have their schedule be, but they want to be sensitive, as do we, to their family members. So for some people, it can take up to 4 to 5 weeks. This is something new for people. And they need to be able to adjust not only to their new environment, but build relationships with all of us as the staff. So we are also talking to families and to make sure that, they make sure that we know they may want to increase their days and their hours, but they want to give their family member time to adjust first. And we'll be in really good communication with everybody as well as with the community. And so in some ways, yes, that's our goal, is to be full and to have a full house every day, while recognizing the fact that that might happen quickly, and looking at that there's a bigger need. Yes, Deanna?
I was just gonna say to Sally too, I think it's a little bit of a different shift in thinking where it's not a drop-in program if you like what's on the calendar kind of at the time.
That's true.
Sort of
Oh, yeah.
similar to what people are used to here at the Thompson. You look at
Thank you.
the calendar and pick what you want to come to, but the Scotland House will be more running on a schedule and scheduled, you'll have to be pre-registered and have all of that in place for admission before you just
Sign up
drop
for the
in.
music program or something.
Right, Deanna's absolutely right. You would be there, it's a 4-hour minimum. So, whatever days that somebody is there, they're there for 4 hours. And the minimum of number of days is 2 per week. 2 days a week
Is the limit or?
is the minimum.
Okay.
Yep. And again, those minimum number of days and hours is really for the participants' benefit. It's very hard and challenging sometimes for somebody with a cognitive impairment or physical disability to come in and only be there for an hour. They don't have a chance to build relationships and get to know the routine and the staff. So the 4 hours was based around that. Any other questions?
Makes me want to go.
Well, thank you. That's great to hear.
Good,
Yes.
really.
Hi, Eddie.
You said something about open house.
Yes.
The participants are going first.
Yes.
That's
So I can explain that to you. So when we do have a final date of when we are opening our doors, instead of having a big open house for everybody, we felt that the participants and their families would like to have something that's more intimate. So, and not as threatening with a large crowd of people. So the first open house that we would be scheduling would be for the participants who have signed up and their families and their caregivers to come and meet the staff and be able just to walk around and see where things are. It's my expectation that soon after that initial open house, we will open our doors for business. And then after that, we will have an open house for the community, for our partners, other healthcare providers to come in. But again, our focus was on the participants and what would be best for them. Okay? Right, any other questions?
Will there be an announcement of when it's going to be open so people don't have to tell them?
No, absolutely. We're all waiting for that. Again, even though we've had some delays, the goal is to make it a success for the participants and the staff. So we will definitely let everybody know not only when our opening day is, but also when our open houses will be. And the Scotland House really, once we're up and running, will be open to people popping in for a tour, and just coming in. I know that it's exciting and everybody wants to see it.
And you'll be in the newspapers?
Yes, yep, we will be announcing it.
We'll have it in our newsletter as well. And I think we should put a sign-up sheet so that if people in this room are not already on a mailing list, we can add them to an email list.
That sounds great. Any other questions? All right, so on your way out, I did print out, there are some brochures that give some of the basic information. On the brochure, it does state that the amount for transportation is $20 round trip. Again, we are looking at that, okay? So that would be the only thing I would let you know in the brochure that might change. And then I also left copies of our contact information. So if you do go away and have more questions, you have the telephone number, you have our email, and we are currently here temporarily at the Thompson Center. So we're not far away, and if you have any questions, you can call or just pop in. All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.